zooming your mouse wheel up or in goes into your screen, as well as going out will go out of your screen. The one thing to note here is that zooming in and out will always follow where your mouse cursor is going to be. So if I want to zoom into this spot over here, I can point my mouse cursor in that direction and zoom in, and it's always going to follow where my cursor is. So if I want to zoom out and zoom into over here, I'm really just following my mouse cursor to wherever that is. Rotating, we've gone over this a couple times, but if you hit Shift on your keyboard, that turns your middle click into rotate. So I can middle click here, and now I can rotate about my model. So rotating is kind of like zooming in and out with your mouse. If you want to rotate around a certain point in your model, the easiest thing to do is to make sure that your mouse is hovering over what you want to rotate around. So if I want to rotate around this column, make sure your mouse is hovering over the column, and then hit your Shift button on your keyboard and then middle click, and it's going to rotate around that column. If I would do that over off into space, say my mouse is over here and I rotate over here, it is going to rotate similar, but you're rotating around a point you may not be able to see what you're rotating or what you want to see when you're rotating. So the best way to do that is to rotate around your mouse cursor as well. Now when rotating, you will notice that, say, if I rotate in here, we can see that the elevation did change from my second floor elevation to 23,276. So you want to be careful when doing that. There's a couple different ways that we can get back to the view that we were in. There's a keyboard shortcut. If you press U on your keyboard, it'll undo that view change. So now I'm back at my second floor elevation. Or if you wanted to, let's say I rotate around again a couple times, I can come up here to my navigate section within my layout page, and this is the undo view change. So because I rotated a couple times, I'll have to press it a couple times. So if I press it once, it goes back to that rotation. If I press it again, it's going to go back to my second floor elevation. So there's a couple different ways we can undo our view changes. Now let's say if we want to rotate around a bunch of times, let's pan a couple times. Instead of having to come back through to here and press this button a whole bunch of times or press U a whole bunch of times to undo all those view changes we just made, there's another command that we can do called revert, and if we press that, it's either Control R on your keyboard, or you can come up here and press this button. What it's going to do is it's going to reload the last current view that was open. So if I press this, it's going to go back to my second floor and my elevation at my second floor, because that's the last view that we had open. So whatever way you want to do to get back to your elevation that you need to be at is perfectly fine. The other way that you could go about doing this is if you rotate a whole bunch of times. If you don't want to use your undo or revert, you could always go back to your open view and open the view that you want to be in.